welcome back to Wake the Dead. So we're still here with Jeff from Alley Cat Records.
Hello.
And so, first thing I wanted to ask you for this portion of the show is what kind of got you into local, like, indie music, stuff like that?
It originally started in New Jersey where I'm from. Before my family moved down here, and I found these cool shows at like VFW halls and like outsider venues, and at college. Rutgers University used to have college shows, like basement shows and stuff, that I would drive to go see with some friends. And when I came to Greenville, I saw some flyers, and there was a place called Backdoor Skate Shop, and there was some killer shows out of there. It had the same vibe as the ones I was seeing in New Jersey. And there were some shows that, I think a summer happened, and I think a lot of the people who were setting up shows moved away. Basically, like, it was trying to track down where the shows were.
Mm-hmm.
And when there was none happening, because I guess the promoters moved away, that's kind of when I got involved in doing the shows myself.
Okay, cool. So you hear, like, if they aren't going to do the shows for me, I'm going to do it myself.
I mean, I would have preferred to just gone to the shows, but I wasn't going to let live music not be part of my life, nor drive, like, to Chapel Hill or something all the time. So we just popped up some mattresses in the living room and did it there. Basically, we started doing house shows and stuff just because we didn't have a spot. That Greenville at the time wasn't really having live music too much. I guess it was a dip, and there was DJs and booty clubs and stuff, but live music was kind of put on the wayside, so we kind of created our own thing.
Nice. And so you're telling me a little bit about that, like, in between the shows, stuff like that. So after those what's it called, the underground shows,
Mm-hmm.
or after the, like, house shows and stuff like that, you said you moved on to a like backdoor venue, or?
Yeah, so so there was some punk kids that we would do shows with, house shows and stuff, and sorry, the pollen.
Yeah. I feel you there.
Yeah, one summer, since it's the summer and there's a lot of police and less college kids, they started shutting down the house shows we were doing. And the idea was to find a spot we could do it without them bothering us. And we were able to find one on Dickinson Avenue. And we opened up as an art gallery. And, of course, live performance was art to us, so that's what we included. And from that came a place called the Spazzatorium, which was kind of continuation of Spazz House, which was the houses we were doing shows. So Spazzatorium started, and that was where we threw it down until, for a few years, I think almost 2.5 years, we were able to do shows, and I'm talking 3-4 shows a week for 2 years. So a lot of amazing bands had come through, and still some people talk about, and it's kind of like my personal heyday during Greenville days was when I was helping to run that, the Underground. And the Underground has come up to other venues now, which I've always wanted to do. But, I always have appreciation for that. And anytime someone wants to do a house show, I'm like, I got a PA system. I got you. I got some advice. Because that's, I kind of think, where people are getting the best experience, and I try to make it the most safe I can if I get involved with that. But now being above ground with having a venue and stuff took a long time to be able to have a place like Alley Cat Records, where we, we're legal. The fire marshal can come by, and it's not like the end of the world,
right?
Because we're doing things by the book, and took a lot of time to get there, and it's awesome. But I still keep the Underground going if they want to go. I can give them some advice and stuff and some equipment to use.
There you go. So for all the underground musicians out there, go talk to Jeff. He'll hook you up.
A lot of them know. They come to the shop. They come. They tell me. They give me ideas, and I don't shoot down any ideas, but I tell them, in my experience, this did not work so good, or I just kind of say, give it a try. I'll tell you what not to do. Don't have people breaking bottles in front of where it is, and kind of have everyone in the back. But I can give some pretty good advice to keep it going longer than it should.
There you go. So, and that was like most of that that you did with those underground shows is in the early days of, like, your music.
Yeah, it was the early 2000s, yeah, that was most of. I always had to stay in the underground because we didn't get really above ground for a bunch of years. Mm-hmm. So we would have the major stuff would happen underground, and then we would have a place like the Tipsy Teapot, which was, a business that embraced us because they were kind of struggling. And I said, well, can we have some can we try this? Can we try this music that I'm doing? I won't give you the bands that are too crazy, and I think you'll get like 50 people, and if you have beer and they're of age, you're going to make a ton of money. And that's what happened, and we were able to keep a business going longer, and they appreciated us, and so we had our home above ground for a while, and when that went away, we did the same thing in a few other places.
Nice. And so you were also mentioning to me that you'd spent some time in Philly.
Yes, so through my connections with underground bands, I got on good with some people from West Philly. They had a place called the Danger Gallery. And when the Spazzatorium shut down, and then we went back to just doing houses, but I started getting too popular, like too many people were coming out, and eventually they would call me like the walking noise violation. So if a cop would see me, I had to kind of hang out in the back of a house show, like a party or anything, because if the cop was driving, they would slam their brakes on, roll backwards, and go, oh, I know if we stick around here, we're going to get some fines. We're going to get some noise violation fines. And I'm like, oh, man. So I would have to hang out in the back, and people would be like, Jeff's depressed. He's out back there. I'm like, no, man, let everyone hang out back here with me because I can't go out front. So that's kind of a funny story about it. But anyway, that caused me to feel that way. I was like, I can't do what I want to do. So I got the connections to Philly and helped them run their gallery because the guys were in bands and they were out of town for the whole tours. So I went and ran their venue while they went on tour, and then I ended up staying there because I had a great time. So I stayed there for almost 10 years and learned a lot about being part of a bigger city doing this, where, I kind of know what to do in a small town. Now I know big city, so I learned both aspects. So I'm firing on all cylinders for what I really love to do, and with all that knowledge, I brought it back to where we got with Alley Cat Records through David Brown, who took me in as a stray and saw the potential and helped me have a livelihood to actually do what I love to do. And we're beneficial to each other because Alley Cat does well with me involved, and vice versa. So
cool. And so, how did Alley Cat Records itself get started? How did that all happen?
So David, he has a store that had a record room. Mm-hmm. And he basically, during COVID, I think his manager left, who was operating the record room out of the bookstore, and I got tagged in, and through there we just kind of grew it. And there was a vinyl resurgence around COVID time. A little bit before that, it started picking up, and he had a ton of stuff in storage and stuff. So all we had to do was take the time to price, and we'd have enough to go into a bigger room. And when we were going into the bigger room, we said live music is going to be the big part of this too. And through that, that's how Alley Cat started. It came from like the evolution of vinyl going big, and then me pushing for what I loved and not having to push too hard because he loves it too.
There you go.
And boom, Alley Cat.
So that's cool. So it started off as a bookstore, and the vinyl got so popular that it outgrew the books.
Well, you know what? That bookstore's doing good still, but the vinyl room is still there. It's kind of discount stuff. So anytime we have stuff that's like below $10 or something, we'll send them a bunch, and you can basically buy dollar records there or like a big box. And so that's kind of like a sister place where we kind of branched from. And in between that time, he did try to do a record shop elsewhere, but it wasn't time yet, I don't think, for a record that the resurgence really came around the time we came, and it really like popped. And now we're really doing good. We had the best sales day that we've had yet has been on Record Store Day, which was only maybe a week ago. So that says a lot.
Cool. Right. And so, I'm just trying to figure out trying to get the timeline here, I guess. So you spent about how long up in Philly?
Timeline would have been, so here, I was here from about 2003 to 2009, where all that Spazzatorium did its thing. 2009, I moved to Philly, and I stayed there pretty much to 2018, and then I came back here.
Okay, cool.
Came back here a little bit before COVID hit, and had to kind of reassess because I did not have Alley Cat. I did not have a connection, so I was doing underground shows and stuff, and just being a floating promoter and bringing shows wherever I could do them, and locked onto a few venues that got it, like Trollingwood, which was off of Dickinson, and we were able to have some good runs with those, and it kind of was since 2018. COVID was a no live music basically. So the thing that I knew how to do the most, I couldn't do anymore. We did something really cool during COVID, which was called the DIY drive-by.
Oh, what was that?
And basically we got a pickup truck, a generator, and a musician. And we would drive to their in front of their house, and you could set up socially distanced, because that was the rules.
Yeah.
And we would drive the music right to them. So you could sign up, be on our run. So on afternoons, during this, that frame when no one was getting any live music, people could go outside of their house, sit down, and we would pull up and play them, 20 minutes of music, and put out, like a jar that we couldn't touch. And if they wanted to donate, they could. Then we'd drive on to the next show, and that was really cool. And I had some really great memories with some musicians doing that, and just seeing the need for live music in people during that time, knowing that when it was going to be over, how much creation and community could happen. It really was inspirational. So when 2021, 2022 phased in, we kind of hit the ground running, and
that's all. I had no idea about that.
I was just reviewing that because my friend Billy, who was involved with that, he passed away, unfortunately. But I was having a great memory of it because it came up on my feed 6-7 years ago, whenever it was, and I thought that was such a cool thing because no matter what, we were going to have music. We were going to make music happen. We weren't going to break the laws or get people sick, but that to me was one of the coolest things.
Yeah, keeping live music alive.
The
high water.
The spark never, there was a little flame during that time, but it was still going. We were just kind of putting a little kerosene on it.
There you go. Nice. So if I recall, Alley Cat Records had started out at a little place downtown, right?
Yep.
Kind of.
That was our original spot. We were right near Sup Dogs, basically.
Right.
The cool thing about that spot was that whole building. It kind of spans that block. On the far end of that building was a place called the Attic back in the day.
Right, I've heard about that.
Which is legendary, and especially for your program, because I think some of the bands you play might have played there.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Grateful Dead, but I do know that some of the members and stuff over the years, and a lot of old heads would come into Alley Cat Records, and I guess we used to be a sub sandwich place back when they were going to shows at the Attic.
Really?
Yeah, it was called Newbies, I think. So I learned about that, and someone would come in with their friends and be like, "I'll get a number 6," and I'd remember the menu, and I'd be like, "What'd you want on that ham and cheese?" And they'd be like, "How the heck do you know that?" I'd be like, "I did the history," but being in that little block was cool because I could still kind of feel some energy from there. But the thing was with the downtown was going through where they were doing their road resurfacing.
Right.
So we picked a great time to transition, even though we liked the location because of foot traffic and everything. Mm-hmm. It was really good to get our name out there for that first year and a half or whatever. But as soon as we saw the construction coming, we knew we needed to find something else because it was already hard to park, and it was already hard to figure out how people were going to bring us collections of music, which we get a lot, let alone when they needed to park for shows if they're coming from out of town. So it was a blessing to meet our current landlord who let us in at his place because he was a regular shopper at the spot, and he let us know that he had a space that was just storage at the time, and we were like, if you decide, please let us know. And he decided, and that's how we have our spot.
Sweet. And so I'm assuming there were a lot of benefits that came with their new spot.
Yeah. Just the layout, because when we went in there, we could change it to the way we learned, because the other spot was kind of tighter.
Yeah.
And the live music was kind of awkwardly placed. And we went in there full knowledge of what worked and didn't work. And I think even the acoustics of this spot are a little better, just because it's not as wide and expansive, and there's some block. But also we have a parking lot, which is super important. And then on the other side of the wall, we have a full restaurant and bar. So if a band's coming into town early, they can eat there. If people are coming into town early, they can have alcohol. They can have liquor there. We have beer at the shop, but they could get their thing on. So just
somebody might be chilling at the bar, hears the live music next door, and be like, I'm gonna go check that.
Oh yeah, it happens every show. And if I let them in, I don't charge them. I say, go check it out. If you like it, drop some money. But we've gotten some cool people that way, and they're really nice to us at the spot, Overtime Tavern. Good folks. And like I said, the landlord's been great to us, and that whole strip is just cool, and we're happy where we are, and proud of what we've become.
That's awesome. Would you say there are any maybe downsides to the new spot?
We always want more room.
Yeah.
We were hoping at some point we could maybe expand more, but there's another side of on the other side of the wall there is storage. So if we ever get big enough, I'd love to tear the walls down and just get bigger, but that would be up to the landlord, that'd be up to David, and that would be up to the finances that are entailed, because it would be double rent. But really, for what we have, it's a blessing, and a lot of people give us great feedback. Even traveling bands who see the whole country get a great feeling on Alley Cat, like Heartbent, who we mentioned earlier. Those guys are playing really big rooms now, and they made sure to hit me up just a week after their tour. Hey, we want to come back to Greenville on this next run, which is a huge sign that we're doing a good job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you might be able to hear them talk about this if you go listen to the Heartbent interview on WZMB. I remember they were talking about, they were like, yeah, we had originally scheduled our thing with Alley Cat when we thought we might be getting 20 people. And do you remember how many they had? Because they said it was a lot.
We hit cap. We don't like giving the exact number, but
okay.
I will tell you that we hit cap, and we had to do a 1 in 1 out. And it was, and that was really on them. That's an out-of-town band that promoted the heck out of it the right way. They did pick some great locals to play with them, but really that band, they're going to keep getting bigger and bigger because of how they handle it. And they were really, really communicative about, like, hey, what band should we book to open? And Tag promoted the whole way. So those guys, they have everything they need. A lot of bands who are as good as they don't ever get much farther because they don't have someone in the band, or a few in the band, that do the marketing aspects. Mm-hmm. They had that, and they have the merch and stuff. So everything I see from them means that they're going to just keep doing bigger and bigger things. And if they get too big for our spot, we'll get them at the State Theater.
There you go.
As Alley Cat presents.
Nice. We're about coming up on the end of the time we got for the show.
Okay.
Is there any last minute things you'd like to talk about?
Just want to loop it back to when I said Alley Cat presents and stuff. So with the State Theater, there's a show that I have coming up that's like a big milestone for me. The guys that I went to college with way back in the early 2000s in Future Islands, I've got them to come back. They're doing a 20th anniversary run. And they have a bunch of North Carolina shows at the big venues, Orange Peel, the amphitheater in Wilmington, and the Cat's Cradle, big venues, and they're coming to play State Theater here. And that's on like Tuesday the 26th of May. Advance tickets going on sale now. I think there's about 250, 300 tickets sold. That's a huge deal. And a lot of people are flying in and out of town or driving in to see that. And like I said, full circle moment for me. That's going to be a great show. Lonnie Walker's opening. They're from Greenville originally. And I'm very proud of that and stoked for that. And I can't wait for it. And I can't wait to be in that room to see them, celebrate them, and see some friends I haven't seen in a long time.
That's awesome. That's really cool to hear about. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hunter, appreciate you. You have a great program, and I'll be back.
Thank you. Can't wait to see you again. Next up, you're going to be hearing High June play Girl Next Door. You're going to hear Tiger